Hello, this is Tomlin from TomlinHarmonicaLessons.com, and today I am going to show you which notes you should be targeting over each chord of a 12-bar blues. So for this lesson you'll need a harmonica in the key of C. We're playing in second position. And basically this harmonica is designed for people who find that they're just playing the blues scale in various sequences when they're improvising. And they might be focusing on hitting the 2-hole draw because that's the note that corresponds to the 1 chord, and they know that that's a very strong note. You might also be playing the root notes of the 4 and the 5 chord. If you're not, I'm going to tell you about those, and then I'm going to tell you about the other notes you can target over each chord. So, first of all, what's this root note targeting? So, when you're playing over a 12-bar blues, you have 3 strong notes depending on which chord is being played. So we have 3 chords. We have the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. And if you don't know what order they come in, click below to get my link on to get my lesson about a 12-bar blues and the structure. So I'm going to assume that you know what order they come in. But the thing that's really important is knowing which notes they correspond to on the harmonica. So the 1 chord corresponds to the 2 draw, the 4 chord corresponds to the 4 blow, and the 5 chord corresponds to the 4 draw. Okay? So when those chord changes occur, you need to shift which note you're emphasizing so that it's the root note of the chord. So this means that you're going to be starting and ending licks on that note, or at least ending them on that note, because that note will feel like a resolution. So over the 1 chord, we'd be doing lots of... So you'll hear that I'm playing that 2 draw loads and loads. That's the kind of tonal center of where I'm playing. And then if I was playing over the 4 chord, we'd shift things up so I was focusing on the 4 blow instead. So we'd have... Okay? And I went down to the 1 blow there as well. That's just because the 1 hole is the same as the 4 hole. It's the same note. So if you can play the 4 blow or the 1 blow. And then finally over the 5 chord, we're going to be focusing on that 4 draw. Okay? So we'd have... And I played the 1 draw as well, because that's the same note as the 4 draw, just an octave between them. Okay? If you remember, an octave is just the distance between 2 notes that are the same, but higher up in pitch. So the 1 draw, for argument's sake, on a C harmonica is a D, and the 4 draw is also a D. If you went up to the 8 draw, that would also be a D. But they're all separated by an octave, and you'll hear the difference. But anyway, so targeting root notes, that's a very strong way to play over a 12-bar blues. So if you've never done that before, that's what you should try doing. You should try playing over the backing track and just following the chord changes and moving what the tonal center is around to fit in with that. If you've already been doing this for a while and you're like, yawn, I do root notes all the time, what else can I do? This is where things start getting a little bit more interesting, a little bit more jazz. We're going to use something called chord arpeggios. So an arpeggio, all it means is playing the individual notes that are inside a chord. So when a guitarist is playing a 12-bar blues, the guitarist isn't just playing a single note when they're playing a chord. They're playing chords that contain 4 notes. And these notes are known as the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and the flat 7th, okay? So if you know what these notes are for each chord, then you can improvise over each of those chords by targeting those specific notes. And that really lets everyone out there know that you know exactly what you're doing. So I'm just going to go through what those arpeggios are. So over the 1 chord, your arpeggio is going to be the 2 draw, 3 draw, 4 draw, 5 draw. Okay, so if you're playing over the one chord, instead of thinking about the blues scale, you can just think about using those notes, okay? Every one of those notes is in the chord, and that sounds very strong. Then we get to the 4 chord. The arpeggio is 1 blow, 2 blow, 3 blow, and then 3 draw half step bend. Sorry, I have a very sticky 1 blow reed. I'll fix that later, but for now. Or if you're feeling particularly feisty, you can take it up to the middle octave and have 4 blow, 5 blow, 6 blow, 6 overblow. Okay, so you can improvise around that over the 4 chord. Okay, just another set of notes to focus on. And then finally, we have the 5 chord, okay? So the 5 chord is the 1 draw, 2 draw half step bend, which we don't use very often, but it's very useful for the 5 chord, 3 draw whole step bend, and then 4 blow. Okay, and if you want it in the middle octave, 4 draw, 5 overblow, 6 draw, 7 blow. Okay, so once again, you can improvise hitting notes from there. So you've probably had a little play around with this now, and you're thinking it sounds a little bit weird. It just sounds like I'm playing arpeggios. So the key is to not worry about playing every single note in the arpeggio, but just pick a couple of them, okay, and play that over a 12 bar. So for example, you could pick the 3 draw and the 4 draw over the 1 chord. Then you could do the 3 blow and the 3 draw half step bend over the 4 chord. And then maybe you could do the 3 draw whole step bend and the 4 blow over the 5 chord. Just play around with those a little bit, and then gradually introduce the other notes. And then you'll find that what you're doing is you're playing the blues scale, and then when the chord changes, you'll be targeting specific notes from the chords as well as the blues scale, and it'll sound very musical. And then finally, if you're not comfortable playing all those bent notes or overblows, just pick out the notes in each of the chords, chord arpeggios, that aren't bent. So over the 1 chord, that's easy, all the notes fit. So 2 draw, 3 draw, 4 draw, 5 draw, they're all great. Over the 4 chord, you can just play all the blow notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's excellent. 5 chord's a little bit harder. We've got the 1 draw and the 4 blow, or 4 draw, 6 draw, 7 blow, okay? But the key is just to muck around with this. So you want to download the backing track that I've got in the link below, and you want to download the cheat sheet that has all the notes that work over each chord, and just muck around with it and select little portions and add more and more to it as you get more comfortable. And then you'll find that this starts seeping into your playing, and it'll make you a lot more interesting to listen to. So don't be one of those harmonica players that just sits on the 2-hole draw. It sounds good, but it gets boring really quickly. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, join me next week for next week's harmonica lesson. Thank you so much for watching that. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you would give it a thumbs up by clicking on the like button below. Make sure that you don't miss out on any future harmonica lessons by subscribing to my channel, because I upload a new lesson every single Wednesday, and sometimes I upload some extra ones in between. And then final thing, if you feel like you could use a little bit more guidance with your harmonica playing to take it to the next level, you should check out my online harmonica school. You can get all the information and find out how you can help out with that by clicking the link below. Thank you so much for watching. See you next week.